Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame. That's
Yugi peoples, welcome to the deck profile for my 6-0 undefeated sneak peek Omni Hero deck. So yeah, we played Omni Hero at the sneak peek. I went with the intention of playing Yubel, but I couldn't get all the cards I needed to play it. And so we ended up playing Omni Hero that, luckily I brought it with me. And it was kind of strange because one of the OCG players that I follow on Twitter had posted, hey, I want to play full power heroes like they have in the TCG. And he posted his version of what he felt like he would play heroes as. And so I made the deck, I was like, OCG doesn't know what it's like to play over here in the TCG. And so I put that deck together. I think I might have made like one change to it. And maybe like the side deck, he didn't post a side deck, so I did make one change, I believe, to the main deck, and that was about it. And that was like a call, like right before the tournament, after seeing what everybody else was kind of doing and bringing. But yeah, before we jump into the deck profile, also check out my sponsors, Meta, TCG. They buy cards, so you can sell your cards to them. You can buy cards from them. Use my code Mhero to save yourself a percentage. And then also check out my other sponsors at Opposition Games, OGTCG.com. Use my same code Mhero. Save some monies. Buy from them also if you don't happen to see it on Meta TCG. And our boy Alfred over there at the Opposition Games, he buys cards and stuff too. So yeah. Jump into the deck profile now. It is 41 cards. When we doing the deck profile, I'll tell y'all like one card that I could take out if you wanted to make it 40, or you could replace it with talents. A lot of people were asking about talents and such. So yeah. So we got 2 Stratos, 2 Shadow Mist, 3 Liquid Soldier. And then we got our OG Neos and then Honest Neo. So this card never came up the entire tournament. Well, actually, let me take that back because there was one time when I Fusion Destinied it. But, in the same aspect, this one could have been Fusion Destiny. So I don't know. It's kind of like the same thing almost. Like it just never really came up during the tournament. I know there are some situations where it could come up, so it's kind of hard to tell if I want to take it out or not. So you can see the ratios are really different from how we usually play. It feels like a larger hero package because normally we only play 1 Shadow Mist, and normally there's only 1 Liquid Soldier as well, and then normally there's 3 Stratoses. It never came up that I missed the 3rd Stratos. Just with the 3rd Mally off in there, it didn't really like be necessary during those times where you would normally search Stratos off a Cross Crusader and then normal summon him. I just didn't normal summon it. I just like saved it to the end, and I was still able to go full board combo and stuff because of the 3rd Mally. And then in my match against the Voiceless Branded, he actually did nip me at the end of the combo. So then I just normal summoned out the Stratos and searched out the plasma and was still able to do plasma. What was it? Plasma DPE favorite contact thing. So didn't necessarily miss the 3rd Stratos. I will say that I sided out one of these almost every single time. So yeah, you could probably just replace that Shadow Mist with a 3rd Stratos if you want to play it, or take out the Shadow Mist completely. You could really take out a Shadow Mist and the Honest Neos and play the triple tactics if you wanted to. Now this was like a big thing, was the 3 Liquid Soldier. There was only one time where I drew 2 of them, but I just discarded it off of Ferris, so it didn't really, make too much of a difference. But there were plenty of times where I felt like I didn't have a play or couldn't do much, and I drew the Liquid Soldier, and I would also draw the Mally, and I'd have the Polymerization, or summon Stratos, add the Liquid Soldier. I already had Polymerization because I played 3 polys off inside of there, and it was just phenomenal. drawing 2 cards, discarding 1. It comes in handy. Putting out Big Chill out on the board early, or getting that Sunrise out there early, also with the Mally in the grave, so that you could make Cross Crusader or whatever it is you want to make. Like, it really came in handy. it didn't really, I don't think there was any game where I had it and I was like, oh man, this is just horrible that I drew the Liquid Soldier. You know, it was pretty much always good in live for me. But yeah, I would probably cut these two out. Like, I understand his reasoning behind the Shadow Mist. There was like some months back, he had actually ran a deck like this in the OCG, and it was when Droll was really popular, and he was saying, you could do this, make your fuse these two together, make your Infernal Rage, and then you would be able to, if you were scared of Droll, you would be able to search your favorite contact at that point, draw your two, and then you Shadow Mist effect to add your Neos. That way, if you did get Drolled, you already got your favorite contact, you have your Infernal Rage, and then, you got your OG Neos because you searched it out with Shadow Mist. So that was kind of like his reasoning. It never came up for me in a tournament. I actually didn't get Drolled. I don't think people are really playing Droll. So yeah, they never really came up. So those are the E heroes right there. Then our Vision hero lineup, kind of strange too. We got 3 Ferris, 3 Vion, and then 2 Increase. So yeah, this came up quite a few times. There were multiple times in the thing where, this would get stopped or this would get ogred, and I would just normal summon out the Vion and do it. So it did come in handy a couple times. In my Game 3 in the final round of Swiss against Tearlaments, I actually drew both of my increases, but it was pretty luckily, like, even though I drew both of them, those were my only 2 monsters, I was still able to win the match because of a combination of other cards that I drew. I drew like these 2 with Rivalry and Mass Change, and yeah, we was able to just win it from there. But yeah, this lineup was pretty solid. I feel like if you're going to play 3 Mass Change, you might as well go ahead and play the 3 Vions off in there. It helps you play around Droll, could help you play around Ogre, if, I don't know. It just kind of it's kind of situational a little bit, especially if Nib is pretty popular, because you don't want to, summon Vion, use his effect, use the Mass Change to keep from getting Drolled, and then you end up getting Nib and you lose your Dark Law and your Mass Change. So, it's just one of those things to consider, whether you're more afraid of Droll or more afraid of Nib, depending on the deck that you're playing against, whether or not your opponent plays hand traps and such. Just, keep those kinds of things in mind. Like one of the things, that I was just saying about Ghost Ogre is like, Ghost Ogre on Increase is kind of like a killer, but if you have your Vion, you go Mass Change into Dark Law, then you send your Shadow Mist, use it to add Ferris or whatever hero it is you're trying to discard. Since you have your Dark Law on the board, when you start doing your Ferris combo stuff, they can't Ogre your Increase, and Ogre is probably about to be pretty popular this upcoming format. So yeah, just a couple things to think about there. Then our Destiny hero lineup. Of course, the star of the show, 3 Mally, and then Plasma and Denier. These cards were overperformed throughout the whole entire day. This card was so easy to summon, so easy to play, because, with the 3 Maliciouses and then, technically 4 Maliciouses with Deniers, these just like put so many bodies out on the board for you constantly. And Plasma was just amazing. Skill drain that you can search and put out there on the board. Big skill drain, also, usually he was about 3,400 attack, because, you're getting those nibs and equipping them and gaining half of that attack. But yeah, I think like before the tournament started, or, even when they announced the 3 Mally, I said it doesn't really change up our combo too much unless you really just want to, take the chance of playing into nib and end on Plasma, DPE, Dark Law, and favorite contact and stuff, and, risk the getting nib. But one thing I feel like it did change and help with a lot was summoning out this card. Like, there were so many games where I was just able to get this out on the board because the Plasma just like let me have, I mean, not the Plasma, but the Mally just let me have extra bodies out there on the board. So yeah, these two definitely MVP for the tournament, especially, Plasma. He was amazing. So yeah, those are the monsters. Then for my spells and traps, pretty standard here. 3 A Hero Lives, 3 Fusion Destiny. Some people have kind of, cut down on Mass Change, but we got 3 Mass Change. And then this is the one, I always search the red one. Red is my favorite color. So we always searching that with. This one's, really a really strange one is the 3 Polymerization, because you kind of wanted to open it with the Liquid Soldier if all possible. And then my one-ofs and spells and such. The double droplet is kind of weird, and if y'all saw on M Code 40, the third droplet was in the side deck. But what happened was, like, before the tournament started, like, I was thinking that a lot of people were gonna be on, you know, Yubel and Tempe Dragon and stuff, but nobody had really got enough of the stuff to really be able to really be able to play it and make it work and stuff. So actually ended up deciding to put the droplet into the side deck and play the rivalry, just because yeah, rivalry is really good, you know, especially like when you're getting nibbed and, you know, just different things. Like, I expected to play against Snake Eye Fire King a lot, since a lot of people wasn't able to get, you know, the complete stuff to finish the new deck. So I wanted to go ahead and main rivalry. It's really good against that deck. They usually don't have a way to out it in the main deck. So, you know, and like in my match against Tier Limits, it was amazing. Even though I really feel like in the normal circumstances I would have lost that, even though I got Dark Law out there. He had the planet card, or whichever, one of the Tier Limits cards that increased his attack. So he had the Tier Limit monster that you can just like banish one, a special summon it or something like that. And with the field spell, it had enough attack to attack over Dark Law. But because I had Rivalry up, he wasn't able to do anything else after that. As far as this lineup goes and everything and stuff, these cards were amazing. This card won me a game when my Stratos was the only hero that I drew. I normal summoned it. He got ashed, and then Foolish Burial into Mally, and yeah, I was able to still go full combo because of having triple Mally now. So this card, you know, the once or twice, you know, I used it. Fusion Destiny, always amazing. The 3 poly were really cool. I liked being able to start off with poly in my hands a lot, because a lot of people at my locals and just like, you know, people in general know that you want to stop the Vion. You know, you want to stop them adding poly because it keeps us from doing a lot of things with our board. Then, you know, the trap cards, Miracle, Rhoda, you know, these are all pretty standard cards, things that we're used to. Then Favorite Contact and Rivalry. And as you can see, like, as far as like going second cards go, it was only the droplets off of there. I feel like, you know, the polymerization into Big Chill was, you know, pretty good at clearing the board quite a bit if I needed him to do. Because, you know, hey, it's just, you know, board wipe, destroy all your opponent's monsters. And without a Omni negates out there on the board, you know, he went off quite a few times, you know. So it was actually pretty solid right there. So, yep. That is the main deck right there. The extra deck, very standard, just our normal E heroes. The boys right there, Sunrise, Infernal Rage, Big Chill, Shiny Neo Swingman, Wake Up, just very standard. Y'all know what all these do, what they do. Then our D hero boys. Of course, some people like to run 2 DPE. I still like to use Dangerous because, you know, we always drawing that increase, and at least I can use increase and, you know, my Mally or something to make Dangerous and, you know, kind of go from there. Like, there was also, you know, one time where I did it like that, and I used a poly with the Mally in order to make the increase, and then I still wasn't able to get into it, but he had a monster in defense position and attack into it, put the increase into your spell and trap cards on, and then, you know, go off like that. So yeah, these were really good. Of course, they do what they do. One thing that might not necessarily be very standard was Vision Hero Trinity. This is one of the changes that I did make. He had Elemental Hero Escurado, or whatever you call him, but he had him in the extra deck, and, you know, you can understand the reason why, because when you go Fusion Destiny, you're locked into dark heroes, and if you want to get, like, you know, Liquid Soldier's draw effect, if he was in the graveyard or you dropped them with like Ferris or something like that, then you could Miracle Fusion with, you know, one of your dark monsters and your Liquid Soldier to get your draw to. And Vision Hero Trinity was kind of like the same thing, you know, if I have, you know, Liquid Soldier and, you know, 2 other cards or whatever, like, and it was pretty easy to get out there, Mally and Denier and such, and you can still, you know, he's dark, so you can make him and attack for game. Actually say, like, my first round, he actually won the game for me in my first round. It actually came up like 2 or 3 times in the tournament where just like that 5k attack is enough to put people down. And then, like I said, if you activated the Fusion Destiny, you know, you still get your draw because you can make him, you know, using Liquid Soldier and such. So yeah, because, you know, with Fusion Destiny, you can't do like Sunrise and Infernal Rage and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah. Then our M Hero boys, 2 Dark Law, Shadow Mist. In my game against Tearlaments, I actually went the double Dark Law line, which I haven't done in a very long time. But I just assumed that he would save the Imperm or something forward, and then I just wanted to have the other Dark Law just in case. I don't think I summoned this card, and I actually messed up because I summoned it against Voiceless Branded, and he had the spell card out there. And I never used Blast Effect to bounce it back to his hand, so I just couldn't target his monsters or do whatever. I don't know. It was just remember to bounce stuff back with Blast. It hardly rarely ever comes up. Usually, he's just there for dodging, Valor and Imperm and such. But yeah, he actually could have helped out there. Then my Link monsters, double Cross Crusader, of course. Then Infernal Devicer and Wonder Driver. I do believe that in his version of it, he only had 1 Cross Crusader. And I forget what the other card was that he had off inside of there. But I decided to run it like this. I like having a double Cross Crusader. I feel like it comes up quite a bit, especially because I get nibbed on Cross Crusader a lot. So, yeah, or he gets what's the other one? He gets Ghost Belled quite a bit also. So yeah, I like having double Cross Crusader off in there. And then of course Infernal Device or Wonder Driver. I really wish we had another space where I could fit in a second one of these, because he's usually gone after the first part of your combo. But yeah, that's the extra deck. 15 cards, I hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that was all of them. So that was the extra deck. And then for my side deck, y'all know I love cross out. So we have to cross out with the combat grade, because I really feel like with heroes, when you're playing this deck and you're going first with it, if you're able to go full combo, you're most likely going to win the game. There aren't too many decks that are able to play into our board very well. It basically come down to, they need to draw evenly match or probably most likely lose the game in most situations, because Dark Law, banishing all their stuff, DPE pop, Shiny Neos Wingman pops, and then if you do got that plasma out there, you got skill drain. So it's really hard for decks to play into our board. And so I like to use Crossout Designator in order to make sure that board goes through. Then the crossout targets, these guys right here, just the normal. I think I had everything off in here except for what is it, the Moonlight Chill. I didn't really, I don't know, I was hoping that people just wasn't really on it, but these are the ones that I always just see people typically play. I went with Double Droll because this is the one that hurts us the most, so I wanted to make sure that if I did draw one, that there was still another one inside of the deck. And then these other cards, typically, as long as they don't have it in combination with another one, typically you can play through it. But I put them off in here just in case it did come up to where my hand was too weak to be able to not play through Ghost Bell or Ash or any of these such things. Did I cross out anything the whole entire tournament? I actually don't remember crossing out anything. A lot of people, I guess going second, they use going second cards, which the main one, being evenly and such. Yeah, I don't think it ever really came up, but also at the same time, I only drew it once as far as I can remember. But yeah, I'm a big fan of crossout, especially when you're going first. So yeah, those off in here. Then the droplet that I replaced with Rivalry, I just threw it inside the side deck, just didn't know if it would come up. And then a little fear of the Senpai dragons and stuff. I had the double barrier, and then goes in match also, for those other matchups and such, that goes in matches really good against, because heroes can play pretty well with it. Of course, the goes in match, I did sided in the tierlets matchup. I don't think there was any other matchup where it really did or would have helped too much. I don't think. I'm trying to think. I played Voiceless Branded. I played against Tearlaments twice. Played against Fire King, Snake Eye, or yeah, what's the Snake Eye? Yeah, Fire King, Snake Eye. And what was the other deck that I played against? I can't think of it at the moment, but yeah. We played against the Voices branded twice and the Tier Limits twice because we played against each other in top 4 and in the finals. But yeah, so the D barriers didn't come up. Nobody played the Tempi Dragon things or whatever. I did side it in against the Tier Limits deck, but it just wasn't. It didn't end up being necessary. It didn't end up coming up because he wasn't really playing hand traps. And I think like the one time that he did hand trap, he was the one who ashed my Stratos, and I was still able to go full combo. And Darklaw just, murders that deck. So yeah, that is the deck profile right there. 41 cards. If you cut something, I would say cut the Honest Neos, cut the Shadow Mist, maybe add in those 2 triple tactics, or thrust, if that's what you want to do, thrust and tactics, or however you want to do it. But yep, that is the deck profile. I appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next visual.
For me, my wingman, he come through, he level up, he go cool, he shining out and popping to over 9K. That's a breakthrough. We on top now. Here's a look at our world.